Hey, 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 goodness to you. It's Sporty King. And I always say goodness because I don't know whether you're watching morning, afternoon, or evening. But isn't it great to have good in front of your salutation? Hey, look, I'm on a little early always. I decided to go with a minute early for today for Friday's Gift Friday session. So if you're watching the video, you still got time to go get yourself a glass of water, whatever. Even duh, you could put it on pause. But either way, that's one of the things I do, and I like to offer that as a tech tip to people as well. When you're doing a live broadcast, if you say you're coming on at a certain time, come on earlier. So people aren't sitting there waiting for you to come on. They may be doing something else and they need to close something out. So just think about that. I know a lot of times people get on and they, or just like, or they'll get on to, well, let's wait for a few more people. No, why why penalize the people who are on time? Okay. Hey, and I'm talking about not just on your broadcast, I'm talking about at your party, at your events as well. So it's 11 o'clock. Let's get rolling. You come in, please let me know where you're viewing in from. But especially if it's your first time, welcome to Gift Friday. I created it because so often we hear people say TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. But I say, what allure does Friday have to the person who took their last breath on Thursday or any day before that for that matter? So I use what I learned through Psalm 92 and 2. And that is, it is good to proclaim your unfailing love in the morning, your faithfulness in the evening. And what I do with that is connect that to not TGIF, but TGIT. Thank God it's today. And then TGIT, thank God it's tonight. With this, I get to add another lesson from my Bible, my favorite book, and that is the Bible, but also the chapter Matthew 6:34. It is good to, therefore, so don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Thank God it's tonight. Today's trouble is enough for today. Thank God it's today. Yes, darkness always precedes the light. And I offer, therefore, first another way of looking at TGIF, and that is trusting God is free. Trusting God is free. Think about what it costs for you to receive the greatest gift of any day, and that is the gift of waking up. Doesn't cost you a dime. So that still moves us to realize that we could do a little bit of math. We could do some subtraction and some addition. Let's take TGIF and let's subtract that T from the front, move it to the end, and subtract it from the front and add it to the end. There's that subtraction and the addition. And what do we get? We get gift, GIFT, what we should really be thanking God for. And that is the gift of today. You see, God is for today. So Gift Friday is the online sharing of one of my poetic messages or poems, and it's possible uses to inspire audiences online, in person, or in your spirit, because sometimes you need the message. Sometimes we do a lot of trying to encourage someone else and we forget or we bypass encouraging ourselves. Each poem will be my gift to you. You'll hear me read it here, then I'll drop it in the thread on on Facebook or LinkedIn, and then you can download your colorful keepsake copy. This week, I've chosen a poem from my book, A Poet in Every Prophet, a book that reminds and encourages any writer that their gift cannot be measured by public approval. And I say that because when I dedicated the book to a group of young poets who I used to work with at Purdue University. They were from a group called the Haraka Writers. They're part of the Black Ensemble, Black Cultural Center's one of their four ensembles. And when they say to me, Mr. Sporty, is this poem good? How do you feel about this poem? And I'd say, you know what? You are at Purdue and you have a gift. Your poem is fine. And I say that to any poet. Your poem is fine because it's from you to God. So look at the word prophet and you'll see that poet is in the word prophet. Prophecy is coming through God, through you from God. Anything you write is poetic and it is your gift. So you have to recognize that it's not about whether or not somebody else liked your poem. What's important is, did you write it and what encouraged you to write it? So think about that. The words you put on paper are gifted to you from God as only you can express them. You may not be a prophet by the dictionary definition, yet there are times where your words foretell the future. So, above all things, consider each poem you write as good, for it is an expression through you for someone that you may never get to meet or know. Meanwhile, the book is a collection of my poetry written from 2001 to 2011, and then separated it into chapters according to the year that I wrote them. I've chosen to share the last poem I wrote in 2004, which is the first poem of that chapter, actually, because it is about the presidential election results of 2004, and not much different from the political controversy that seems to come with every election now. Here's how I introduced it. Incumbent George W. Bush defeated John Kerry that year. However, Kerry's concession speech would not come until Wednesday, no, to Wednesday afternoon, November 3rd, after issues had been raised, including the mailing of absentee ballots, the counting of provisional and absentee ballots, correction of improper marks on optically scanned ballots, and alleged tampering with electronic voting machines. And here's how the chapter was introduced. I'm publishing this short year backwards. I didn't write much, but I experienced quality growth. Our political process can be so wonderful, yet hypocritical. We want and believe others should adopt our system, others around the world, while showing how divisive and incomplete it is. Don't misread me. I love America and the blessing to live in a fallible democracy rather than an inflexible dictatorship. I always wonder, however, whose lifetime will get it right. Here's the poem, Wednesday, November 3rd, 2004. And by the way, I wrote it in prose format. Good morning. As I write this, I don't know who our new president is. I chose not to follow the returns just to see what it was like. Nothing cynically intended, but a way to live my day according to knowing who God is. You see, that would change my day. I can't worry about what to expect from a president who is given a time limit to change decades of behavior while trying to please handfuls of people at a time. Those efforts for change represent only the rewind of a roller coaster ride at an amusement park where we don't get to ride again without going to the back of the line. So whatever you missed is gone. Well, now does that compare to the back of the bus? And I should say, well, now, does that compare to the back of the bus? At least there you were safe from the head-on collision and could get a good glimpse at the person who didn't need to stab you in the back. A time limit to change decades of behavior while trying to please a handful of people at a time. Winners of popularity contests by virtue of a lesser of evils choosing system that floods our lives with confusion for a stretch of time called campaign season. Because before falling back to bickering over issues yet unresolved from decades that have no limit. I can't worry about that. I can't expect much from a president who is given a time limit to change decades of behavior while trying to please handfuls of people at a time. I can't worry about that. Yet, I won't worry about what I can expect from my God, who has limitless time to change ages of behavior while trying to please only himself. I sleep and wake with the hope that I am being changed to make my life better. I know how I have believed and what I now believe. If I can share that with another person, I get to sleep again knowing that my vote has been cast and counted. So when I woke up this morning, God was still my God. He has extended my time limit to change decades of behavior while trying to please only Him. It's 10:02 a.m. and there's no president. Case closed. Yet before I close this case, I'd like to take you back to celebrate something I wrote in the introduction that I read to you from 2000 of that 2004 chapter. What I wrote is, I love America and the blessing to live in a fallible democracy rather than an inflexible dictatorship. You see, part of that blessing is due to the sacrifice of our men and women in military service throughout the years. Today, Americans celebrate Veterans Day, while in Canada and Australia, November 11 is celebrated as Remembrance Day. Canada's observance is pretty similar to our own, except many of its citizens wear red poppy flowers to honor their war dead. In Australia, the day is more akin to our Memorial Day. Now, Great Britain calls it Remembrance Day also, but observes it on the Sunday closest to November 11th, with parades, services, and 2 minutes of silence in London to honor those who lost their lives in war. In America, first of all, it's not Veterans, S Day or Veterans, Day. You see, that apostrophe is a grammatical signal of ownership. Written as shown in these two examples, the day would belong to one veteran or to multiple veterans. Veterans Day. Veterans Day honors all of those who have served the country in war or peace, dead or alive, although it's largely intended to thank living veterans for their sacrifices. Have a safe Veterans Day weekend, honoring every veteran. If you'd like a copy of the poem, it'll be available in the thread. If you'd like a copy of the book, send me an email request to sporty@sportyking.com. I'm Sporty King, and I wish you a happy Gift Friday and weekend. And remember that God is for today. Peace.